Hello, Diablo 2 fans. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks to everyone that subscribed so far. Your comments and engagement mean a lot and help me know these videos help you understand the game better. I absolutely love Diablo 2, its community, and I love making these videos. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. In today's video, I'm going to showcase my Magic Find Frenzy Barbarian with over 700% Magic Find. We'll go over stat distribution, skill tree, gear, good farming locations, my favorite farming locations, strategies for farming efficiently, and final thoughts on this specific Frenzy Barbarian build. Some key features to highlight about this build: when using the Find Item skill, Magic Find reaches over 700%, which is amazing. This Barbarian has over 4,000 health and 500 mana after battle orders. And although his clear speed is on the slower side, what the Barbarian lacks in clear speed, he makes up in his Find Item skill. The drawbacks to this build: it's a single target build, which means he sucks at clearing very large mobs like cows. If you want to run cows, you'll want to stick with a sorceress or a Zon. The Barbarian's also not really great with bosses since he can't use the Find Item skill on the boss. And last, this particular build relies on potions, which if you're a seasoned barbarian, you know how annoying it could get to use potions. The goal of this build is to maximize Magic Find without sacrificing clear speed too much. In the next build, we'll showcase a barbarian that has a fair amount of Magic Find, what I would consider the sweet spot of Magic Find, but has a better clear speed. For now, let's abuse the barbarian's Magic Find ability and the Find Item skill. To start off, let's talk about stats. We'll want to add the minimum amount of strength to wear all the gear you need. Next, you'll want to add points into vitality up to a point where you feel comfortable. Around 2,000 base hit points feels like a strong place for generally running through the game, but more life never hurts. If you want, you can add more points into strength since you are a melee character, and more strength means more damage, which also means more life leech. Really, you want to go with whatever you feel most comfortable with. You won't want to add any points into dexterity or energy because your gear will give you the dexterity and energy you need to carry the weapons you want to use. Now to go over the skill tree. This specific build finishes around level 85, so after 85 you'll have extra points to put into different places depending on where you need them. We'll start with the masteries tree since that's the easiest. You want to start off with maxing out your weapon of choice. You'll likely be choosing between swords and axes. Keep in mind, if you want to swing with your Alibabas, you'll want to pick swords. For the combat tree, you'll want to put 1 point into bash, max out double swing, 1 point into double throw, and max out frenzy. Double swing synergizes with frenzy, so you want to make sure you're maxing that out. You also want to put 1 into stun, 1 into concentrate, and 1 into the berserk skill, so you can have berserk in case you run across any physical immune monsters. Putting 1 into leap is optional if you're running Enigma. I like to use leap to crowd control and get into the middle of mobs when I don't want to teleport. For the Warcry skill tree, you'll put 1 into Find Potion and 1 into Find Item. You'll start with 1 into Howl, 1 into Shout, max out Battle Orders, and 1 into Battle Command. You'll next also want to put 1 into Taunt since it's a synergy for your Frenzy skill. After 85, you can choose to put more into your Frenzy synergies like Taunt or Berserk, or you can add more into Howl if you want to maximize your ability to crowd control. Now to get into everyone's favorite subject, gear. Starting with the main weapons, I have a Breath of the Dying on the main hand and an Oath on the offhand. For the helmet, we're wearing a Shaco with a socketed topaz, Enigma for the armor, Dracules for the gloves, War Travelers for the boots, and upgraded gold wrap for the belt. For jewelry, we have a Ravenfrost and a Nagel ring. Want to make a note here that the Ravenfrost does have cold damage, so some bodies will pop after death and you won't get a chance to use the Find Item skill on those bodies. A better option would be to find your Cannot Be Frozen trait on a different piece of gear like an Eternity Rune Word, or by socketing a Cham into your Shaco instead of a Topaz. For my weapons on Switch, I have double Alibabas with double Ist. In my inventory, we're carrying as much Magic Find as we can stack. When it's all said and done, this build costs you a Jaw, a Burr, a Zod, a Vex, a Maul, and a handful of Ist runes to get all the gear you need to run this specific build. Now that we've gone over the stats, the skill tree, and the gear, let's talk about farming locations. The best places to farm for a barbarian are places with unique monsters. You'll want to avoid bosses since you don't get a chance to use the find item skill on monsters like a Mephisto, Diablo, and Bale. Instead, farming areas like the Pit and Lost City and monsters like Pindleskin, Eldritch, and the Trevinkle Council are all amazing, and definitely places you want to frequent for a Frenzy Barbarian. If you have teleport, throwing Nihilithek into the mix is a great option for building guaranteed wealth, since the Barbarian can be tanky and use his Howl skill to clear mobs around Nihilithek. You won't get to use the find item skill on Nihilithek, but I usually end my runs here, so it's a great option to add. As for my favorite farming route, as a person who loves the Frenzy Barbarian, I found the most enjoyment running this route: Trevinkle Council, Pindleskin, Eldritch and Shank, then Nihilithek. Don't skip out on using the find item skill on Eldritch and Shank's minions, since minions of super unique monsters generally have better loot odds than your average monster. The farming strategy for the Frenzy Barbarian is very simple. In most cases, running this Barbarian build can feel like autopilot when you're able to proc life tap with your Drax. In rare cases where you come across a monster with the Holy Freeze trait, you'll want to utilize the skill Howl to clear mobs so you can focus both attacks to get rid of Holy Freeze. After killing all the monsters in an area, you'll switch weapons to your Alibaba and use the find item skill on all the bodies. This skill practically gives you a second chance at loot. Some final thoughts on the build. As a big fan of the Frenzy Barbarian, I'm biased when I say I enjoy magic finding with this character. I generally like to run a little less magic find in favor of faster clear speed and inventory space, but this high magic find build is a great option every now and then when I want to solely focus on farming uniques. This build is definitely a great change of pace for those that mostly like to MF with a sorceress or a paladin. While the clear speed is okay, the barbarian really makes up for his lack of clear speed with the ability to find item. Some of the pros of this build: has the highest potential for magic find, best in the game. No other character in the game can gear up as well as the barbarian or get 2 sets of drops from one super unique. The find item skill practically doubles loot, making up for his lack of clear speed. This build is also very versatile and can easily change gear to handle Ubers. And last, it's a very fun build. Who doesn't like running around with super fast run walk speed and smacking everything? Some of the drawbacks from this build: single target really sucks. If you like farming places like cows and Bale, this barbarian build may not be for you. Whirlwind Barbarians and Singer Barbarians are much better at clearing mobs, so you'll want to lean towards those builds instead. I like to keep a Javazon for when I want to slay mobs in flurries. A second con is it's a very slow teleporter. Although the Barbarian has amazing potential for hitting faster cast rate breakpoints, carrying 2 Alibaba stunts his teleport speed and his battle orders. You can always change a few pieces of gear out for faster cast rate gear, but you're likely sacrificing in total magic find percentage. Overall, the build clears at an okay speed. I personally like higher clear speed and being generally faster as a character over having insane magic find, but to each their own. This is a very straightforward magic find build that maximizes the barb's ability to dual wield Alibabas and use the find item skill. I would definitely recommend this build to anyone looking for a reliable character that can magic find efficiently and is very versatile. As a player, you'll need to pay a little more attention when compared with purely DPS and high tanky builds, but the boost in magic find can definitely be worth it. The build ends up being very flexible and can easily be converted for other ways of playing. Let me know in the comments if this video helped you, what changes you would make to the build yourself, and what you want to see in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching YouTube. I'm Space. Don't forget to like the video, Subscribe for more content like this, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.